All right. Just like it was a shock to hear Ramsey was injured and then it was no big deal. Cody, my man, was supposed to go see the Tyson fight and not be here. I was going to kind of plan on doing a solo, but when he said he can come and join me, I brought him on in. So a pleasant surprise both for Ramsey and Cody. How you doing tonight, Cody?
I'm doing really good. Friday nights are a teacher's best friend, you know?
And summertime, man. Summertime.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Living
yeah.
La Vida Loca. How's everybody doing tonight? Sorry, guys. I put out a podcast today, and I didn't know anything about the Ramsey injury yesterday. And then I saw he got injured. I was like, oh, man, I freaked out. I did a podcast, like the first 5 minutes, man, was based on that. And then I found out it's nothing. Like, I don't no designation injury. I don't know the whole deal, but whatever it is, to me, the only way the Dolphins could lose, I mean, they can always lose. But if Ramsey and Fuller weren't in, I was going to be a little bit concerned for obvious reasons. But now that he's in, Cody's like, let's be positive. I'm like, yeah, we should be positive. The only positive, the thing that I would be really concerned with is no Fuller, no Ramsey, and then having Cam Smith out there and maybe Kohu and Neal trying to cover. But at this stage, this game should be a win, no matter what. Even with Ramsey in there, I suppose this offense can put something on. The defense can kind of occasionally do. I think they're 14th in yards per game and then 11th in pass yards per game. But this, there's no excuse for us to lose. What do you think about that, Cody?
Well, we're the Dolphins, so crazy things happen. People make ridiculously long field goals on us to end games all the time.
It's crazy.
But this game feels like a Dolphin win for so many different reasons. I'm trying to think of, just like you said, what could go wrong, how somehow they could lose to the Raiders. And Pierce is on the hot seat. You want to see if those guys are going to come out and just play their asses off, because they love the guy, or the whole thing could fall apart too. And I'm worried about the offensive line, just because Lamb's over there. I think he's pretty good, but I don't know what's going on with Jones. He practiced, I guess, maybe in full
win. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't. Win's that guy that you're like, I'll believe it when I see it. That's when I'll go, oh, we have Win on our team,
Yeah, I think that there's always, any team can really beat any team. Lamb struggles with power, and Crosby is a guy that can bring power, can bring speed. And one of the things I noticed that what they like to do, I saw a couple times when I was watching the film Zone Stretch. So, usually if a zone stretch is being run against the defense, they flow with the traffic. Some teams, what they like to do is take one of those inside guys and they rush counter. And so what that does is, if you can hit, say, that guard, then it jams up the guard in the center, and it kind of makes a mess of things. So the guys can get, the back end can catch up on the strong side. Now it can open up the cutback. And I saw that a couple of times where, it was for a 3, 4, maybe 5-yard gain. But now if you add an H in and you add in Mostert, then it could be a problem. But, I would have to believe, if you look at their linebackers, Spillane and the other guy, they struggle tying together the front and the back end. There's lots of pockets. I would assume the pocket post that we haven't seen for a while should get off. I don't know. Zonka, the bone, I don't know. He hasn't been hot, man. They choose the Duck, which, Duck's names. Yeah. Duck and Boner are two great names. Or Bonner.
Storm Duck's the man.
So, and then Neal over him too, and even Cam Smith. Bonner's got to be Bonner's got to be better than Cam Smith. So I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. He was talked up big time, and you haven't really seen much of anything, which is
yeah. He's the Tanner Connor of the cornerback room.
Or is it Conatana? Which one is it? I keep forgetting.
He made a good play, and then he got hurt again. Tanner Connor that's what he does. He's flashes on a good play a little bit, and then it's he's hurt. I feel really bad for the guy,
Oh yeah, it's terrible. But that's the whole thing. Certain guys, they just can't hold up, and you can't have to. We have too many of those guys. We have too many older guys. We're the oldest team in the league. And then we got guys that get injured, but still, whatever. It is what it is. This is the team. Let's see what happens. I can't imagine you're going to lose this week or next week. So really, this is all about trying to stay healthy, trying to get some mojo going. I'm not really too hot to trot on the Packers game chances, but you never know. But let's get some happy times. I was very happy to see the win this week. And yes. I don't. Would you see any way? I mean, aside from the Raiders putting a licking on us and causing an injury, or I don't see any way that offense can really take it to us.
Yeah, I think Mike's committed to the run game, and we're gonna run the ball as best we can. I love that we just kept running in the Rams game, even though I'm watching them get blown up on plays. But it's like keep doing it.
Got to stick with it.
There was a guy in one of your comment sections saying McDaniel needs to start throwing it, and his running is causing us to lose games. And I was thinking that's the opposite of what's been going on this entire time with Miami. But
he's a good guy. He's just super passionate, man. He's super.
You can tell.
Yeah, he's really into it, and he just wants to win. I don't know. There's some truth to that. The problem is that we've got all these assets and we struggle to throw the football. It's mind-blowing. But again, I think it just comes down to the defenses won't get out of that pass coverage. And, you got to, as to your point, just if they're going to leave that run game open, you just got to keep running the football, But at a certain point, it's not going to work like that against the better teams and in bad environments. And so that's going to be the test. But this week, I don't know what's going on with the Raiders. Pierce, he was beloved. They got rid of the last coach, and they were happy to have him. Now they want to dump him. He's not, maybe he's not. He's a rookie coach. But it shows you how quickly these players can turn on you,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You get fired more than any other profession. Like you constantly get fired as a coach but you still keep your job. You go to some other place. Like you're still, renowned in the profession, sought after, but you still get fired anyway all the time. It's a crazy line of work. No, I really think this is the game where the entire internet is going to lose their mind after we beat the Raiders like 30-14 or something and just lash on them. Everyone's going to be going, here it is, like hype train. And I'm a fan, and like I loved winning last week, and like I really want to beat the Raiders. And then I know a part of me is going to be like, well, you know what? Like
it's time. We turn it on.
We have deficiencies, but so now we need magic. Now we need somehow magic, and that's possible, man. People go on magical runs where you're like, wow. But yeah, no, it's fun to at least see that we're trending in the right direction. That game Tua played against the Rams, there's a lot of different viewpoints on it. I'm trying to be open to the viewpoint of it really wasn't a great game for him. I just think what he did when it mattered, what he did on third down, the way he used his legs, the way he moved around the pocket, extended plays, like it's scary to watch him do that. But that's what all the good quarterbacks do that your defense can't account for. They can't guard guys in the secondary for that long. Josh Allen, any of those guys scramble, roll out to your right, people start getting open, they can't cover that long. And Tua was doing that. And I just thought, hey, man, that's what we want out of him. I don't care. He used to have really beautiful stats, led the league, most, like passer rating, everything. It's like, I'd rather have lower numbers, but he did everything on third down. And that's what he did. So just give me that on third down and the big plays when we needed them. But it's scary to watch him run around a little bit.
Well, look at Stafford. Stafford won a Super Bowl. He's he's not, I wouldn't say elite, but he's close. He won a Super Bowl. And look, he struggled. He had because neither of these offensive lines played well. I would say they're not good. I mean, the Rams is much better when they got the right tackle. I always forget his name. He's there to run. So you take him out but offensive line is key, And so the way these teams played those fronts and the way they played the pass game, it just made it tough, And so we'll see. You know, it's part of the reason why I say we should have built the offensive line better. But here we are. Do you know Vegas put up 84 last season? Is that true? No. Did they?
What was it?
Says, I like how Miami put up 73 and Vegas put up 84 last season. Vegas
probably no. They didn't they blow out the Chargers?
Maybe. Who the heck knows? Yeah, they
both.
It
wasn't 84 points though. I know that.
And now two struggling versions of these teams will go head to head. Yeah, but Dolphins, despite all their flaws, are the better team. I mean, they should definitely. They're home, but if you look at the Raiders last year, they were kind of tough, man. That defense was kind of tough. But the linebackers are playing so poorly. Hobbs is going to be out. I think the only way I could see the Raiders being a problem is the offensive line can be pretty good. They got Parham, Meredith, and Jackson Powers now at center, and they got Miller, Colton Miller, the other guy Glaze or whatever. He's okay.
Yeah, Glaze, that's a funny name, isn't it?
Yeah, and then they got Mayer, and they got Bauer, and they got Meyer. They have some tools now. Is this guy Scott Turner going to come up with something? Is it going to be some kind of consistency?
If they Dad's there, right?
Yeah,
Dad with them.
I think so. Yeah, I think he's the O-line coach. No, I don't know what he is. He's like
he'll give you a run balance offense.
Yeah,
Turner.
Yeah, so I mean, it will be interesting. I just don't. There's no way on earth that this offense should be outgunned by that offense. There's no way.
Out-coached. That's something that's been happening sometimes. We get out-coached. Halftime, the second half doesn't look as good for us. It started to look like that against the Rams. I was watching them be more successful running the ball. And I'm like, this is like the start of the third quarter kind of. This is how you wear a team down. This is what it looks like. And we're getting stuffed after stuff. But so why were we able to pull that out? Because we got really big plays in the passing game.
Yeah. And they screwed up on defense. I mean, on offense, they made mistakes.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, Matt did hold the ball. But when he's on and you give him time and you run a good route with Cooper Kupp, like if they would protect for him, he would get it to Cooper Kupp so many times, and you wouldn't really be able to do much about it if they would protect Stafford and give him that time. Yep. He will just feed it to him.
Yeah, without a doubt. Larry says McDaniel's in over his head as an HC. Well, he's going to get to prove it. He's in year 3. There should be no issues. There should be no big green mistakes. He's got to prove it this year.
Yeah.
Year 3, all this talent. Let's just, give him the full season. But if he doesn't cut it this year and we flop again, it's got to, it always, to me, is Greer's the number one guy. But then you gotta have to bring McDaniel in there. So you can't have a big letdown. Just there's no rationale for that. Abel, sorry, man. I was gonna do myself tonight, do this by myself, and then Cody just came on, so I popped him on. Next week I'll give you the shout out, man. Thank you for stopping by, brother. Well, we're gonna do only 45 minutes tonight because some people are watching the Tyson fight. And I'm a little frustrated, man. I did all the stuff for the Ramsey thing, and I kind of trashed my podcast. I had it set up, and then I had to reset it. So I'm like, I'm aggravated. They better win this week because I need some kind of more positive. I need 2 weeks of positivity. No revenge. I would hate to see that. Jenkins, Wilkins, and then Crosby. That's not. And then they also had the other guy. There's another DN they had. They lost 2 guys for the season pretty much. Their other DN's really good. I can't remember his name. And then they lost Wilkins. This team's got a little bit of that curse on them this season. So we got kind of lucky. I wouldn't want to play Wilkins because he would be so into it. He'd be so excited to try to get payback. So that's a good thing. So, guys, what's your take on the game this Sunday? Do you see what's some scores? Do you think there's any way we lose this game? I'm really interested to see what this offensive line is going to look like. Is Jones going to be in there? Is Cotton going to be? To me, there's a few little things that could cause those problems. Like if you have Cotton and Brewer and Eichenberg and Lamb, there could end up being some problems. But I don't know. What's his name? Minshew. I watched him. He's not too bad.
No.
I mean, he just gets inconsistencies, and there's some drops and stuff. I'm really interested to see Bowers going against Brooks to see if Brooks can kind of shut him down. And then we're going to see what Walker can do again this week, because Mayer is going to be playing. And so I think there's some interesting stuff to see what we got going here. I just don't see it. I mean, they're 29th in yards, 32nd in run yards, 11th in pass yards. They can pass the football 11th.
Have they been trickling though?
Yeah, probably. It's just it's probably that. And then points per game, 25th. So I don't know. I don't see any. I think we definitely. If we lose this game, I think there should be firings. I mean, that's
no one's losing it because they know that. I think everybody in the building knows. No matter what position you're playing right now, if you lose at home against the Raiders right now, I know that we had some injury concerns, and I watched your podcast. I watched everybody's podcast tonight, so you can get all the updated information.
Got some extra time on your hands.
Yeah. Well, and then you compare and contrast all the information you receive. That's what I teach the third graders.
That's the way to do it, brother.
So where was I going with this, Curtis? Oh, man. Lost my train of thought completely.
I screwed you up, huh?
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. Don't worry about it, man. I get over my big fat trap. 34-17.
Man.
I don't know if I go through it. I think it was more like, I don't know, 27-17, something. I think it's going to be a 10-point win. I think it should be a 10-point win. 34. We haven't scored 34 all year. If we score 34, that's a really good sign. Should be a great game, 27-14. I think that's fair. I think 27-17, but they make mistakes. So
Gardner Minshew is like the new Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh,
so
yeah.
He might have one of those games. That's like one of the only
true,
ways.
Yeah.
He has a big game, but
let's not talk about that, man. I don't need that.
Yeah. No, I think we should all be excited. I think whether you are high on the team or not, we should all be expecting a win. We should all be expecting a win.
For me, I think a thing that I want to see us 5-6, and I want to see the Jets be relatively in that area, and us have to knock them out and get over them. I want to see that battle. I want that Jets game at the end of the year to be important. I want us to prove that, hey, we deserve everything we got, and we're not just, I don't know if we're going to make the postseason. I think it's a long shot for that.
Long shot.
But if you want to take the guarding of the regime, you had your injuries, you had some, the 2 out, which is a huge injury. You had a bunch of close games. I guess if you get to 8 or 9, wins and you don't make the postseason, somehow I guess you can sell it. It's not for me, but I can kind of see how they might do that.
How many games do you think we can lose? Like
1.
2? You think it's 1?
Yeah, it's just 1.
Like
I mean,
2, you need a lot of help from everybody else, right?
2, because 2 games you'd have only 9 wins.
Yeah.
So,
that 7th seed always messes with my calculations. It just feels like there's always this team that really isn't doing that great. But AFC's been stacked, but people are losing. There's not a lot of crazy records out there now. I'm rooting against the Bengals and everybody else, Chargers.
It's the 7th seed. That's the only one we can get, And so when you go over the list, let me look at the list. I think we bumped up to about 10% chance. Which is
on the rise, Curtis.
Yes.
We're dropping in the draft and rising up.
Yeah, awesome. You can't sit in the middle. You've got to either make the postseason. Oh, so it's the Broncos. Broncos are 5-5, and then you got Colts, who you lost to. That's number 8, 4-6. Bengals are 4-6. We won't play them, so we don't lose tiebreakers. So we can't earn or lose tiebreakers. I don't think we can't take the Chargers. They're 3 games ahead of us. I mean, they could totally crap out, I guess, or something like that. You can't get out. You can't beat the Chiefs. Can't beat the Bills. You're not going to be able to outpace the Steelers. Texans is a team, maybe some, but I think they're going to get the division, so I don't think it really matters. Ravens, I don't think we're going to catch them. Chargers, maybe somehow if something happens to Herbert, but they're 6-3. It's Broncos at 7, Colts at 4 and 6, Bengals, and then there's the Jets behind us. So it's those 5 teams. And we got currently.
Who did they play? Broncos have a tough game this week, and Bills play the Chiefs, and there's a few.
Yeah, they're at Atlanta. They play Atlanta. Colts play the Jets. Well, that's good. If the Jets beat the Colts,
it looks good. There's some good looking matchups for the Dolphins.
And then
favorites.
and Bengals play the Chargers. So you never know, man. You never know. It could get a little interesting.
No, I remember what I was saying now. It was about injuries and how I watched your podcast and another one that was early, and they were like going over a pretty big list of injuries. And then I caught the Kyle Krabs podcast later, and he pretty much said like everybody besides Fuller's basically kind of playing, like not win most likely, but all the guys we were worried about that were hurt, they're basically all playing besides Fuller. And I hope I'm quoting that right, but
they are.
Start the week, and now it's feeling a little better right now.
Well, the only one I really was concerned with was Ramsey, but he was limited 2 days, so I don't get how it works. So he's fine. He doesn't practice on Wednesday. Then he practices on Thursday. Then he's got a thing. And then they're like, well, we don't know if he's a player. And then he's limited on Friday, but there's no designation. Like
if this happens next week with a different star player, and then they end up playing and doing celebrations in the end zone where you're like, oh, your wrist is fine. Then I think we might be doing something to the other team psychologically with these. Oh, Tyreek might not play. Don't worry about – like they're not going to not plan for him, but whatever. Like, oh, Jalen Ramsey, he got hurt. Mystery, he might not play. Don't worry about, who he's going to cover.
Yeah, I'm never going to do – I mean, but it was so weird because, Seal, I was like, oh, it's no big deal. And he was like out. And then Jackson, it was like he was injured. It's like, oh, okay. And then he's like done for the season. So who knows? I don't know. I'm glad he's in. I guess I had to do a podcast and eat it on that. But so
Sealer and Campbell, though, don't you think those guys, like, that's a really good combination? Like, rush up the middle. Andre James, is it Andre James? Their center. He's not playing. But
they got Powers Jackson playing center, and he looked good last week.
Has he been playing guard?
Yeah, he's been playing guard, but his center is his natural position. And they got Parham. They got a really weird design for their offensive line. They've got a big center, 320, and then they got 2 like 320-something tackles. But then they have a 300 and 288-pound guard. So they've got a really interesting design. I think that, Sealer and I think Campbell are going to really do a good job. I'm not sure about what Chop's going to be able to do. I don't think it's going to be as easy as last week because Colton Miller is pretty darn good, and he can help a lot down the line of scrimmage. So it'll be interesting to see. I think that at every level, though, we should have advantage. Hobbs, I think, is a guy that could give us a little problem. With the depth and everything. But, I mean, you had Jonnu. Spillane can't cover Jonnu. The other linebacker can't cover Jonnu. They really don't have much of a nickel or safety group. So I think this should be a very quaint and a very easy game. Not easy, but, game for us where we shouldn't have to work. But the only thing is they've rested for a week.
That's
extra.
Like the only check mark they got, though, right?
Yeah, and so it's how physical, it's injuries, and some of these injuries, like Ramsey, if he was injured and he gets hit, and these guys are playing all out. But like you said, who knows if this team is all out? So I don't know. I don't really see. I go over to the penalties. Oh, they're 11th, but it's 6 penalties a game. We got 6.9 turnover margins. We both kind of suck. They're 1.6 and we're 0.3. So we're not really winning hot to trot. They're worse than us, but I don't think it's anything to really separate. Both are kind of a little sloppy. Nice news. I think I mentioned the other thing. Eichenberg is playing there. Eichenberg, the linebacker. But overall, I mean, I think this is, I don't know. I don't really have much to say tonight. I mean, do you guys, anybody out there have anything to say? I might just do this early one, I think.
Well, I got one question for you. I've just been wondering, and I don't think the Dolphins would ever take your advice, but with Wynn coming back, do you think Jones should be playing right guard and Eichenberg should be sitting and Wynn play left guard? What do you think are our best healthy? Everybody, what's our best 5?
Well, I kind of, I went through that in the podcast a little bit. And so, hey, it is Hook Up Joe. I'll get to you in a second, brother.
What's up, Joe?
So it's a quandary because you look at Lamb and he suffers from power. I think he's a better pass blocker than Jones. But he can't run block. He's older. He's not going to throw his body out there. He's not as big. I don't think he's as physical. Jackson's, I think, sloppy, and I don't think he's got power. But I think he's a better run blocker. Eichenberg struggles. He doesn't have much power. Brewer, he doesn't have much power. Sometimes he can get the leverage and do some work. But then if you put Wynn in there, it's another guy. Because last year you had Wynn, and he was next to Connor. Oh, speaking of, Connor retired.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Connor Williams retired. So
everybody call Greer and apologize, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if he retired because of injury. It seems weird. It said personal reasons, and because he wasn't playing terrible. I mean, for a guy you look at Chubb and he's coming off. He's not even playing yet, and you saw Phillips when he came back. It was longer than Connor, and so I don't know what's going on there. But he's retired. I mean, so I guess you have to say Greer won this one.
Yeah, if it's physical injury related, Greer won that one. If it's some like the guy's just not doing well in life and he hasn't been and they know there's some, off field issues, who knows? I think that he probably looking around at his team and maybe thinking they're not a serious contender. Yeah. And he knows if he just gives, I don't know, either he's retiring, can he use that as leverage? Can he sit out this season and be
come back?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the Seahawks will still own his rights.
Will they? Because it's a 1-year contract.
Well, but did he fulfill it? I guess there would be some financial paybacks, I guess. And
I don't think it was guaranteed, though. Was it guaranteed?
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Connor Williams play some football again. Maybe he's not there and he doesn't see the team going anywhere and maybe he just doesn't like the vibe. Who knows? Football is such a human sport that we don't spend our time talking about. We just go, oh, he was either had an injury or off field. But there's so much more going on with these players that we'll never know about, So
yeah, thanks for reminding me, Abel, about Connor retiring. You had Elliott comments and this whole Ramsey thing, but you know what?
Yeah,
just win this week, win next week, and then we'll see. I'm tired of stupidity. I just don't. It seems like there's a lot of just dumb stuff that's constantly around the team. I'm sick of it. Joe, my man, Joe, we have the worst to almost worst rest ratio. Other teams coming off bye weeks. Yeah, I think it's a Jets game, too, is where we have to play them where they're rested and we're not. We have a little bit of a grind. We do. And there's injuries. So we just might not have the steam. I mean, to me, again, I really don't like Chris Greer. I kind of sort of like McDaniel. I have no real problem with them. But I don't like Chris Greer. But if this team can do something, you got to give them their credit because it's this last ride's not going to be easy. I thought we would, only have 1 or 2 losses at this phase, but we're coming in with what we got. It's not pretty at all.
I think Mike's growing. As a coach. I think Tua being out for 4 games really changed the entire nature of the season clearly. And you can get concussions if you're not Tua and just come right back and play. So
yeah, you can.
You know what I mean? You can get multiple.
How does that work?
You'll be out a couple of days. You'll go through protocol. Tua's got to sit for 4 weeks, even though he cleared it right away. But I don't want to, focus on that. We're gonna win. We're gonna beat the Raiders. We're gonna get a legit win streak, and everyone's gonna play well, and we're gonna be happy about our team.
Hey, Frozen Fin fans got a channel, man. I've been able to check it out a couple times. Good stuff, man. You're supposed to be coming on here eventually, guys. Check out Frozen Fin fan. He's a good guy. Check out his stuff. I'm gonna try to get him on here, fill my man Cody's shoes a little bit. Oh, yeah. How you doing there, brother? Dolphins need to get blitz happy in this game. I don't know though. They obviously need to blitz. That's what they do. But this
timely.
Because Colton Miller, Parham, Meredith, Bauer, and then JPJ, they could actually stall that blitz and then leave you a little stranded in that secondary. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Our blitzes, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Just stuff the run.
Yeah, got
and then
to.
we'll earn the right to blitz.
But you might be right.
For later day. I love that term, earn the right to blitz.
Yeah.
Stuff the run and earn it. And I think we will be, if we do that, game over. Because we'll score enough points on a bad day, I believe, against this Raiders defense. But that's me.
Joe, there's a stat that talks about rest. I didn't know that, man. You got to send that to me. I want to check that out. Yeah. Yes. AI. Yeah. And I got to start working at AI stuff. That AI is so powerful, man. I've been trying to study it for artwork and everything, man. It's crazy. We knew he was pretty bad. I'm surprised he came back that quick. I think
he looked okay.
Yeah, I think that he thought maybe the Seahawks were going to do something. He's going to be able to get a contract or something. Like get an extension. I don't know. It's weird. It's just really a weird thing. But yeah, you got to say one. His 35% rate came through though. What's that? What's that on? I guess I must have missed that.
Hey, what do you think about Ghost of Adam Gase? He's been harping to put Chop all around the line, even inside, blitz him just all over. And
that's what we did with Phillips.
Yeah, and that's what looked like last week when he had that sack. I literally was like, I had flashbacks of Phillips, that kind of speed and burst to go from, oh wait, you didn't even know he was right behind that tackle to or the guard, and boom, he's right there. So that was encouraging, and he's saying that's it, man. We unlocked Chop. Just keep moving him around and put him inside, and he might be something. His get off. You watch all the tape, and it's insane how fast he gets off. He just needs that right matchup against. Find the offensive lineman that can't handle that type of speed, and exploit that. I think we might have something here. Not a big old power run stuffer. He's not. I don't know if he's ever going to be an edge setter, but he's a guy you can drop back in coverage, I think, eventually, and do a lot of different things with. And I think the kid's got a high ceiling.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, I think he's not going to be a bust. We got to see what. For me, I think that Sweat would have been the right guy, especially because you get so much invested in Chop and in Phillips. I mean, you didn't know Phillips was going to go down again, and what are you going to do with Chop? I get it, Then you get Kamara, who's kind of like Chop. So I don't know. I mean, I think the kid's a good player. He's going to obviously that burst of his is special. I mean, you can't deny that it's special. I mean, is he going to be a three-tool guy? I don't know. Is he going to be able to drop, pass, rush, and run stuff? I don't know, but I know he can. He's got one-tool guy. I know the guy's pretty physical. I know he's a good kid. So I don't know. I got no complaints about the pick per se. I would have rather because I wanted Lawrence over Wilkins. I wanted Vita Vea over Minka Fitzpatrick. I love those guys. Me
too.
I like Suwale, man, a ton. I missed those kind of guys. We missed on Nagata. We missed on Will Fork. We had all those guys in our laps, and we passed on them every single time.
I think did we pass on Richard Simmons too?
Yeah, we did. I don't know. I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I know we passed on Will Fork. I know we passed on Vita Vea. I know we passed on Nagata. I know we passed on Lawrence, but I didn't mind Wilkins,
Campbell saved our butts. Campbell.
Oh, totally.
That last late signing.
Could you imagine not having him?
Exactly. That's exactly what I think, especially when Sealer was out. I know we didn't win that game, but he's a monster. I always thought he was a monster, but 38-year-old, you just hope he's built different. When you talk about some guys just get injured and some guys can't. Well, some guys are also Calais Campbell.
Yeah.
And they're just monsters up until they're even 38. That's why I hope Tyson knocks out Jake Paul, because he's one of those kind of guys, 58 or not. Chris, how old are you?
155, and I feel 165. No, I'm 52. I'll be 53 soon.
Okay. Imagine, having to go fight Jake Paul right now.
No,
Tyson's good. Do you think Tyson's going to beat him or not? What do you think?
I don't know. They went from 14-ounce gloves, 10-ounce gloves to 14-ounce gloves, 2-minute rounds. I don't know what this thing's about. Is it legit?
What if it's real? What do you think would happen?
If you're Jake Paul, all you got to do is survive the first couple of rounds. He's going to gas. You know what I mean? That's all you got to do is survive the first couple of rounds. Even when he was in his prime, he struggled with past a certain point. So, it depends on, he's got the reach. he's just got to be smart. I mean, he's not the greatest, he's the greatest boxer or anything. And Tyson's got the experience. Tyson's Tyson. Tyson's got the power. He's going to have to get into him. I don't know whether I saw, what's his name? I can't remember his old coach, the guy who's got the cut on his eye, whatever. I can't remember. I forgot his name. He was with Customato when Tyson was young. And he looked at him. He said, Tyson looked like he was off. His shots weren't hitting and timing. And then I saw another guy, because I didn't really see all the stuff. They said that all his punches were in close. And so that maybe is his style. And that's the way, he did when he was younger. But he's not going to be able to do all that ducking and diving and moving. He's going to get tired. So, the first round, he could probably knock him out. I mean, if this guy decides to come out and start swinging. But he's pretty smart. So I don't know. And I don't know if it's, if it's serious, real or not. So
exactly. I just hope he wins. I'm rooting for the guy.
Oh, I love Tyson. I love him so much. When I was a kid, I grew up with him, my family was poor, and poor people, they like to blow their money on stupid stuff. So we didn't have a lot of stuff, but my mom loved television. So we had HBO. And I meant,
Nice.
You grew up with Tyson. And my name was, my name is Mike Curtis. So I was like Iron Mike, I was like Mike,
There you go.
So yeah. I don't know. I love him. I didn't think he did all the stuff they said he did. And I thought he was kind of, he grew up in a hard life, and I love the way he turned himself around. I love the way he's a smart guy now. I mean, he's kind of gotten humble in a lot of ways, and
introspective guy.
Yeah. I mean, so I hope the best for him. I think the guy's great. That's all you can ever ask for somebody. They're not to be perfect, but to fix yourself, redeem yourself, grow. And so I hope he wins. But can you imagine if Jake Paul loses to a 50 or 8-year-old guy? I think it's time.
Jake Paul loses no matter what, except financially. Mike Tyson wins no matter what. He's getting $20 million out of this fight. Jake Paul's getting $40 million. So I don't know.
How much is Tyson getting? How much is Tyson getting?
$20 million. And
he's only getting 20.
Only one website I read it. I never vetted it, but it seemed like pretty legit.
Why is he only getting 20? How does that work, man?
I don't know. I wish I'd got,
And Jake Paul's getting
of that.
40. That is weird. I don't know how to.
Because everyone hates him, man. He's the heel. That he's just playing the old WWF heel, and everybody wants to see him knocked out, man. So,
I don't know. I don't know how religious. Verse is way better than Chop. Verse is
monster.
Yeah,
monster. But he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't available, right? He was already.
No, we couldn't get him. No, he couldn't get him. I still think Chop was a decent pick. I can't complain about it. He was the last of the elite guys, even though I still thought Sweat was an elite guy, but no one was picking him, unfortunately, at that position. I thought maybe we could have traded back or something, but I can't really complain about Greer picking at that point. I mean, he could have got what's his face, the guy that the receiver that the Jacksonville Jaguars got, and then you could have maybe moved off
Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah, maybe could have moved off Hill, but I don't think I ever see him. I think they're locked into the whole Waddle Hill Tua thing.
Yeah. While we take on the identity of a running team, we have those two guys, and maybe they're the only reason we can really run as effectively because of the threat of those guys. But we're taking on the identity of a running team, and we have two just stud receivers that we somehow can't get the ball to. And Waddle's a rhythm guy, apparently, because when he just gets a few looks here and there, he doesn't make the play a lot of the time. He did a lot of drop balls. But he also made some pretty clutch ones. I don't want to say the guy's not, but he just needs to be fed the ball to stay in the game. There's a lot of receivers like that, but
but it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense though. If you really look at the design and everything, you've got 20 million in Waddle, you got 30 million in Hill. How are they not getting the ball more? How are they not driving this thing? How do you not have more underneath stuff? Where are the timing routes? Where are the comebacks? Where are the curls? Where's the two receivers on one side working in tandem to create leverage for the other? It just seems like something is really off. I mean, if Andy Reid had Waddle and Hill and Tua, I know there'd be a lot more going on. I just think that there's something off somewhere. I can't put all my finger on all of it, but it just doesn't make sense. Why aren't we not? Where's the slants?
Yeah,
It's like, I don't know. It something doesn't make sense.
I'm glad we're running it. Oh, I love watching us run the ball.
Yeah.
Man.
I just don't, I got to see, a lot of people are excited about it, and I'm happy for the concept. I just don't know how applicable it's going to be against all the teams. I think it works in some regard. You've got to do it. You have no choice, but you're going to get the same stuff that you've gotten. Yeah. He needs but if you ever watch, he kind of like catches awkward. He's not like a natural catcher. And, if he didn't really have a lot of experience when he went from college, he had injuries. He didn't have lots of snaps. So maybe he can develop some more. He needs to, though. He needs much more consistency for 20-something million. Real quick, finally, our coaching staff got to the players. Only one penalty less. Yeah, that was a big piece of the puzzle, too. I think they had 6 for like 60, and it was a big, big difference between us winning and losing. So we'll see.
Why'd we cut David Long? Because Channing Tindall, Duke Riley, does David Long not play special teams at all? Does David Long have attitude issues? I remember watching the game that Chubb tore his ACL in, and the defense was out there too late. The starters, everybody was, pissed at Fangio for it. And I visibly watched him quit on a play, and body language was so horrible. And then when Chubb got hurt, he had a very reaction why the hell are we still out on this field? I don't know if that's his issue. Maybe I would have felt the same way at that point. Who knows? But he's better than those other players. You already paid him. You could have flipped him for something. What do you think really happened there? Message only? That doesn't make sense.
Well, to me, it's if you go back to, I'm, again, I try to say, I'm not really anybody, you know what I'm saying? But if you go to my evaluations to start the season, I'm he sucks in coverage unless you give him small zones. We saw that with Fangio. He's 5'11", 220, can tack, stack, and shed. You're running one gap, which means you're going to get, and you're not having Wilkins. Last year, we ran a lot more two gap, and that means he was cleaner. But you saw that if he's not clean, he runs into problems. And then he has a tendency, because he's shorter, to guess the holes. And so these things were clear. I just didn't understand. I even thought Brooks would struggle a little bit too, because he's down to 220 and he came from a two gap. And I still think he does a little bit. He doesn't attack, stack, and shed well, but I like a lot of the stuff he's doing.
He's got good instincts.
Yeah, he's got good instincts. He's faster. He can cover 10 times better than Long. And so
he doesn't look like a linebacker. When you see him, you're like, who just made that play? He doesn't look like a linebacker out there. I like him a lot. Yeah.
So for my point is how come you didn't do this eval earlier? I got it. You got Tyrell Dotson and you got Walker. These guys are cover guys. And that's really more important for what we like to do. So I have no problem getting off him, because he missed so many holes. He can't cover, and he can't attack, stack, and shed. But he'll fit if you put him in a two gap. He'll do well as a Mike, but he's not. Yeah, he can't. Fangio was able to cover it, but even people were complaining about Fangio last year. I'm saying, hey, look, you could tell a guy who knows how to cover, because you can look at the leverage, the spacing with the other linebackers, and so often he was pinched, or he just was not. He doesn't have a great feel for zone coverage, and so it's pretty clear that he's not good. And Fangio did wonders, wonders with what he had last year. But so it's good that he's gone. I don't think it's maybe it's an attitude a little bit. He was team. So how do you vote him for team captain, not know his skill set, and then get surprised? If we had replaced him earlier, we probably would have had less defensive breakdowns. We might have won an extra game or two. So I don't know. It's good we moved off him. I don't think there's any. He's kind of like Jerome Baker, but Jerome Baker's a little bit faster, a little bit better cover guy, and a better blitzer. But he's not Long when Long's got coverage. When those D linemen are covering up the linemen, he's a real good run stopper. But he's just too small, and he guesses at a certain point. There's so many times that there'd be a wall in front of him, and he really couldn't see. He just would guess, and you can't really do that. So Baker was great for the Flores thing. He was just he changed so many games, but that's his one skill. But then he got shipped off from Seattle. Seattle did like us. They picked up Baker and Dotson, got rid of both of them. I forgot where Baker went, So I don't know. We should win. This should be – I don't really think there's really not a lot to say because we should win. And if we do win, okay, it shouldn't be like, patting ourselves on the back. But if we lose, it should be the death knell. So, I mean, we'll see how it plays out. I'm hoping. I want to see us go into that Packers game 5 and 6 and then do that gauntlet with some kind of respectability. Because if you lose this game, it's almost like what – it's so tough to watch. It's almost it reaches, I don't want Greer back, but I still want to. I mean, it's a long time between next season. Yeah, you really don't know if you're coming back, man. You really don't. Like, how do you know all the stuff that's going on? I mean, I don't know. So I'm just praying we win. I mean, ultimately, I hope they fire Greer no matter what, but we'll see. So
win Sunday, right? Just win Sunday.
Yeah, we've got this. No, it's not really. That's why I'm not even really I'm into it really because it's just such an obvious must win. And the keys are pretty clear. And if you lose, it's just like, that's it. You should no way you should lose this thing. I understand the short week, but there's no rationale for that. So, guys, I'm going to do a short one this week. I'm a little tired. I'm a little frustrated with that thing. And I really don't think this. Do you guys have any questions? I appreciate everybody stopping by. You got anything you want to talk about? Guys. Anything you want to bring up? I'm just being a little short this week. My man Cody's going to go catch that game and stuff. So
we're going to go watch Tyson fight.
Yeah. Frozen Phins. I'm really to see how linebackers. Yeah. Well, I want to see Scott Turner and see if he can do something. Man, if they start running that football, it'll be very, very interesting. But I hate this. I don't see it. So anyway, guys, that's it. I hope you all well. I hope we all can come back and we're 4 and 6, soon to be 5 and 6, and then we'll see what we're really made of. Cody and Curtis saying good night, be well. See you soon. Thanks, everybody.
Fins up.